Hey everyone, it's Kenji, and I'm making some migas. Para mi amigas. So migas are a scrambled egg and tortilla filling that you can use for tacos, things like that. I'm putting them into tacos. I was going to put them into fresh corn tortillas, but I realized I didn't have any more fresh corn tortillas left at home. But I did have maseca, dried tortilla flour. So I'm using the bottom of a bag of Costco tortilla chips to make the filling, and then I'm making fresh tortillas for the actual wrapper. All right, so first thing I'm doing, I already made the masa. It's just a mixture of the dried maseca, and water that you need until it's kind of tacky but not sticky. And then let it rest for a bit. I've got my eggs, so the first thing I'm going to do is salt my eggs. Salting eggs before you scramble them helps them retain more moisture because it breaks up the proteins in them so that they don't squeeze up as tightly once they actually start to set, and so they retain more moisture. So salting eggs in advance before you scramble, good idea. Up to 15 minutes will make a difference. Next I'm going to dice and salt this tomato. This recipe, by the way, it's loosely based on my buddy Daniel Gritzer's recipe from Serious Eats. So you can find that if you search for it on Serious Eats. I'm going to dice up this tomato and salt it, mainly just get rid of the water because this is going into the eggs. And so if you just added straight up diced tomato to it, the eggs would get really watery. So instead, I'm going to salt them to draw out some of their moisture. Then I'll drain them before I add them to the eggs. So generous pinch of salt or two, give it a little toss, and then let those sit aside. We'll do small tortillas. About a tablespoon of masa per, maybe a little more than a tablespoon. I got this tortilla press from Hacienda. And I line it with a Ziploc bag that I've split open, which maybe, more frugal people might say, you're wasting a Ziploc bag on this, when you can use like a plastic shopping bag, but I don't have any plastic shopping bags, so that's why I'm using the Ziploc. I'm going to fry some onions and chilies. This is leftover fat that I had from making carnitas, so it's the rendered fat from the carnitas as they were cooking. So you can use, you can use lard, you can use vegetable oil. Moderate heat. I've got onions, scallions, and chilies in there right now. Nothing like a good fresh tortilla. They're elastic and scrunchable when they're fresh. Corn is one of those. The starch in corn. Once it cools down after it's been cooked, it undergoes basically irreversible retrogradation, which means that once it's cooled down and gone stale, a tortilla is never going to be as flexible or pliable as it was when you first made it. That's why fresh tortillas are best when they've never been cooled. And so oftentimes, at a good taqueria, you might see the tortillas delivered fresh from the tortilla factory and kept in a cooler that's warm, so that they stay warm and never cool down completely, and so they stay nice and flexible and pliable. All right, so I've added some shredded cheese to here. I'm using pre-grated cheese just because it was on sale for 97 cents a bag and I couldn't pass that up. But I would generally recommend buying blocks and grating your own cheese because it'll have better texture. Eggs go in. Crunched up tortillas go in. And then we just cook it, folding it, folding it. The idea here is I want the tortillas to still have a little bit of texture at the end. So not completely soggy, but also not completely firm. You can cook these eggs as hard or soft as you want. I like them pretty soft and juicy. You can stir in something like cilantro if you like. I'm not, just because my wife is one of those folks who doesn't like cilantro. So I'm keeping the cilantro on the side. All right, tortilla, migas. I'm going to put onions and cilantro on mine. I'll leave it off for my wife. A little bit of avocado. Salsa. Lime. Looks delicious, huh? And it is. All right, guys, gals, non-binary pals. See you later.